Leadership.
Yes.
He has admitted clearly that 2024, 2025 budgetary allocations were not implemented. And he laid down some reasons, some acceptable, some not so acceptable, as to the reason why he found it difficult to implement 2024 and 2025 budget. And he has openly talked to Nigerians this time around, almost to the point of swearing that 2026 budget, when passed, will be implemented timeously and completed before the end of 2026. That, for me, is a takeaway of this presentation. And we are going to hold him to his words. He's going to be accountable to his words. He's not only speaking to us as legislators, he is speaking to us, to all Nigerians.
Yes.
And you can agree with me, there is not up to 10% implementation of the capital budget of the 2026. And he has laid down reasons. And I believe those reasons that he has laid are tangible, they are recognizable, and one can take them as admittance of not being able to do the job at that moment.
Before, when you raised the issue that budgets were not more than one, I mean, it led to a serious problem, even to your suspension that time. Today, it's like we have been vindicated because the president said he's operating more than one budget.
Right from that day, right from the onset.
Yes.
I've been here for close to 2 decades.
Yes.
That's close to 20 years. I couldn't have raised issues just because of sentiment or party differences. No, I raised fundamental issues. And it is these issues that have been playing. Even the president admitted at a particular time that the issues I raised were actually germane. But we continue to play with it. Well, that is the issue of fairness and justice. Because if you continue to pursue it, there will be a day of reckoning.
Yes.
And today is a day of reckoning.
Yes.
The president himself admitted that he was unable to do this thing for various reasons.
Thank you so much. We enjoy you.
Senate is a liberal Senate. What do I mean by that? It's a Senate that is tendium with cooperation and collaboration. So from day one, into 2023, where we came in June, we all know that we are into liberalism, which means that the Senate will always collaborate and cooperate in its own internal affairs and in engaging the executive. It's not a realist Senate. A realist Senate is the one that has aggressiveness of power and acquire power to distill to any converging complexities. But this Senate of Akpabio is a liberal. Nigeria is a liberal democracy. You know, the president of Nigeria is a liberalist. So obviously, there is no way you can drive realism from the Senate. You just have to be in tandem with the principle and the antics of liberal democracy. And I think based on that, cooperation has been very smooth with the executive, no area of disagreement, and that is how it will run to the year 2027, because liberalism is the fundamental route by which the current Senate engage.
We have seen reforms, the tax reforms, constitutional reform, electoral amendment, and all of that. How would you say the Senate has handled this, and how will it help the growth and development?
The Senate is not to do economic reform. The Senate is to have an oversight function on what the executive is doing in time of reform. And it's difficult for the Senate to overrule the executive because it means the Senate wants to create its own reform, and the executive will not implement a reform that is originally coming as a foundation from the Senate. You understand that? So that is a real problem. So executive will bring their reform to the Senate. The Senate will look at it with second eye, and don't forget, like I said, it's a liberalist Senate. It will always cooperate and collaborate. And that's how you say that, oh, it's a rubber stamp. It's not about rubber stamping. It's about the fact that there are different human beings engaged here. If you look at Tamboa, when he was speaker, he's a realist. It's not a liberalist. A realist are interested in, some sort of power aggression to resolve state of statism. But the liberals want cooperation and collaboration. And this is, when you look at Anyin period, you see that it's a liberal democratic period. If you look at Okadigbo period, that's a realist, that's not a liberalist. So you can see difference in dimension. And that is why you see impeachment procedure always being sponsored when a realist take over the leadership of the Senate. I can assure you, he will hardly spend 2 years before they collect signature to impeach him.
Thank you.
to fund one stream budget, and that budget is 2026 budget, which will start effectively from April.
Okay, sir, just like you said, the 5.41 trillion for insecurity, how will the Senate ensure that these funds are properly used and not mismanaged?
Yeah, I don't think the Senate has to do anything. The president has solved his problem by himself. He said, I'm interested in data gathering, both in revenue source, I want documentation, and I want things to be done through data, through IT. I don't want hand recording. Even from the revenue, we are policing the revenue collection by using data, and we are going to use that to also look at the expenditure. So whenever you are spending, is matching the revenue you are getting, and you can get the answer from the computer, not really that you're going to use your hand. You're going to input the figure in, and then we can, by one die, you can actually find what it's going to look like.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir, I want to ask.
Thank you. Contact it. And for the first time, I think we have brought a budget that's workable. Last year's budget was not workable. It didn't work. The indices were not right. Today, the indices are right. And Mr. President didn't even say that last year's budget had been discarded, because he gave a marching order that on or before the end of March 2026, that the issue of the remainder of 2024 capital as well as that of 2025 shall be implemented. So that gives a lot of hope to the contractors. It also gives a lot of hope to us, because if you don't deliver some of these things to our constituencies, it will not reflect in our overall best performance. So it gives a lot of hope to everybody. So now, Mr. President have touched on very critical areas of the economy, particularly the ones that concerns human capital development. The issue of insecurity and defense, he has touched on it. That is the sectorial, that's the sector that had the highest allocation of about 5 trillion and above. He has also looked at health, agriculture, education, and human capital development. So I think, to me, as far as I'm concerned, this is a budget that will work. But the most important thing is that he has given himself a timeline. This is the first time President is giving himself a timeline in the budget. The President is saying by March 31st, the remainder of 2024 and 2025 capital must have been dealt with conclusively. So that gives us an opportunity to also check out, do our oversight responsibility, to be sure that all those things that Mr. President said are done. You listened to him when he also mandated the coordinating minister of the economy, the minister of budget and economic planning, the accountant general of the federation, and the director of budget of DG budget office to ensure that 2026 budget is implemented. So I think in overall, I believe in this budget, but let's watch and see what happens next. So we in National Assembly also have a responsibility of oversight. You can't just keep quiet and hoping that the budget will implement itself. If it does not implement itself, we'll go on oversight and ensure that it is implemented. It's our job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Promises for Nigeria, not only the promise, that the actualization of the reality for economic growth, independence, and advantage for Nigerians are embedded in it, and that they realize it. It's not going to be only in the letters, but in the spirit and in the practice.
Sir, as part of your legislative function, the president has noticed a shortfall for 2024 budget implementation. So, what is the legislative going to do to ensure that?
That's why there is a consolidation of the 2024 and 2025. The budget that's why we did a repealing of that budget and reenactment of the same budget. So, because that is the essence of human activity. When you are going on a journey and you find out that there are some hiccups, then you retrace, and then you balance, and then you move forward again. So that's what we have done with the repealing of that 2024, and then the enactment of 2024, aligning it with that of 2025. So that's what we have just done about 2 days ago.
Distinguished sir, looking at the president's admission that he will now from April next year operate a single budget. Are you?
No, before the president came, we have been having this kind of budgetary maybe hiccups. You understand that? And when the president came in 2023, the 2023 budget had already been done and enacted December 2022. So, and when he came and he had his programs and projects, and then fuel subsidy had never been withdrawn from by then. And so when it came, and then there was no more fuel subsidy. So definitely, it means that the budget had to take a new course. So that's why there was supplementary. That new course occasioned having a supplementary budget, and then that supplementary was run pari passu. So by the time 2024 budget was made, you understand that budget had not even ended, because there shouldn't be room for abandoned projects and abandoned programs that you have already done up to 40%, 60%. Then because you want a budget to start from January to December, and so you just jettison it. So where do we go from there? So are those projects not for Nigerians? Are the money that had already been spent on those projects not taken from the kitchen of Nigeria? So because of that, that's why we allowed those projects to be running together at the same time. Two and a half budgets to be running together. So but this year, we have already said that last year or this year will be the end of going for multiple budgets running together. So that's why we had repealed the extraneous budget, the leftover of 2024, and then part of the 2025 capital component that we now repeal and now put them together, which we call reenactment, which we have done. So that 3 month window, we now cure it. That is between January and March 31st, 2026, we cure it. So after it, any program, any project coming from 2024, 2025 will no more be entertained.
So when your colleague said that they were creating more than one budget, you suspended him. Now is it an admission that that time, yes.
Where?
Senator Lingi.
No, that was not the issue then. He was talking about a budget that there was something that looks like padding. So we now said, look, there is what we call statutory deduction that will not come through to the main budget. That is INEC, that is pension commission, that is police and all sorts. Those ones do not come through the normal nominal budget. So that was what he was referring to then. So immediately he knew, he corrected himself, and he apologized, and he was pardoned. That was all then. It was all about running multiple budgets.
Well, thank you very seriously. Very, very serious.